Hey everybody, welcome back. This video is going to be about mining Monero and how you can do this on your own at home. Now, it's a little different than Bitcoin. It's still a cryptocurrency, but this particular video I am not going to go over all of the specifics on how mining works and the specific types of hardware that might be good or bad. I'm simply going to go over more of the generic and the noob-friendly way to do this, and give you a rough estimate as to how much it pays out for the amount of effort that you're going to put into it. I'll be going over two different types. The first one is a GPU miner, and the second one is a CPU miner. And they both have advantages and disadvantages, and I'll show you those here in just a second. So let's start off with the smaller one and talk about crypto miner for your website. This one is Java based using CoinHive, and it literally is, you integrate it with embedment. So basically this is what you get. It's a miner that sits on a web page that visitors can simply go onto. They don't have to download anything. All they have to do is have JavaScript, disable their ad blocking, and start mining. That's it. And they will mine on your behalf. And I'll show you how to set that up here in just a second. So let's start off with, I've got 0.00346 XMR. XMR is the code for Monero. That is about 31 cents. 24 million hashes later, of course. And on and off, it's been, you can tell down here, it's been relatively sporadic. I had some help today from someone else. But yeah, so we'll get into that in a second. So let's go to documentation, JavaScript miner, and I've found actually that this part is not right, and I'll show you what is. So if we come in here, the script that it's talking about, which is this part here, is that. And you don't have to modify this part. That part's fine. The only part you need to modify is when you get a CoinHive account here, it'll give you site API keys and everything, and I'm obviously not going to show you all of the special keys here for mine, but you take your site key, your public key, and you put it right here. You can change the text and change a little bit of the formatting, but basically this is the only piece that you need to add to the HTML document that defines where the profit from the mining goes, which means it obviously gets put to you. Now, in this particular case, this one's mine. So when I put this on my web page, anyone that mines using this miner, it all goes onto my account. So basically, they're working for me. You can change this to your own and have people work for you. It's that easy. So basically, separate from the head here within HTML, within the body, you need to put this line right here, number 8. Script source, it'll point to the JavaScript file running asynchronous, and that's your script. So this actually can be anywhere inside the body. It can be before or after the main script here, doesn't really matter. And we have this divider here, which points to my address, and this script, which kind of just makes it work. I'm not going to go into the specifics of that either. But documentation here. Okay. So we have, there's the divider, there's the JavaScript that it's pointing to, and here are all the little options that you can do to change it, kind of how it looks and how it works and all that, whether auto starts or not. Remember, the Pirate Bay got caught doing this. There was no UI, But if you visited the page, you were automatically mining for them, and they got caught doing it. Now they've since started up again, but whatever. On my web page, it's right out here. It's on a page. You have to hit start. It's not automatic. So I'm letting people know. And then there's this part. And that will change right here. Here's your site key, which is that custom one I showed you. And here's all the elements that you can do to customize how it looks. So now your question is, how fast does this mine? Well, not the greatest. I have an Intel i7 6700HQ quad core, and I run, pretty close to 70 hashes a second. Kind of depends on how many apps I have open in the background. You can change your number of threads. Obviously, the more you do, the better, up to a certain point. So the quad core, 8 threads is probably the best. You can go higher. You can go higher for quite a while, but after a point, it's just diminishing returns. So just leave it to double the number of cores and you're good. Speed, that's how much of your processor it'll take up, and all that kind of I go over down in here. So is this really profitable? Not really. Now, if a whole bunch of people did this, say 30 people were mining for me all at the same time, it would start to add up a little more. But chances are that's probably not going to happen. If someone maybe has better processor, an octa-core, something, that helps. But in general, CPU mining isn't the greatest. It just happens to be easily deployable. So let's kill this one for a second. Now let's go on to the one that actually does quite a bit, and that is using Monero mining pool here, at least in my case. I have my wallet address here set up. Now I've done a little over, well, actually just under 12 million hashes, and I put in a new address because I forgot my other one. I didn't write it down, stupid me, and I didn't have a whole lot, but I'm starting up with this one, and I do have this one written down. They have yet to transfer. My other one has some in it, but seeing as I can't remember it, I can't get it back. Nature of the beast. But in this particular case, we're going to mine using the GPU. In my case, an NVIDIA GTX 1070 with 8 gigs of GDDR5 RAM on an Acer Predator G9 793 17-inch laptop. Yes, it's a laptop. They make a lot of heat. It's an enclosed box. But my temps actually haven't been that bad. So what I have here is XMR-STAK NVIDIA with no TLS. This is my GPU miner. Just takes these 3 files, and I will zip these up and add them to the link, add a link to them in the description below, so you can download this and you can help me mine if you have an NVIDIA GPU. And you can also change, if you get a wallet address, to mine for yourself, and I'll show you how to do that in a second. So basically, under config, which I already have open, is right here. So it'll tell you all of the things that you need to change up here, and they all go down. Notice this is behind asterisk, so this is the demo. This is my current setup. Mostly what you're going to change are threads, blocks, and a find to CPU if you would like to do it that way. But threads and blocks are going to be what you can change. You just kind of have to experiment a little bit. There's supposed to be a way to figure that out, but it was even confusing for me, so I just went with average numbers, and these seem to work fairly well. So in here, you come down to pool address. So if we go back to here, well, I started, here it is. So pool.moneropool.nl, and right here, put that in, and then port number comes after that. And here are the list of port numbers and their difficulty range and what type of hardware they're basically meant for. For me, I'm noticing that no matter what port I put in, it will automatically change the difficulty rating to what's appropriate for your hardware. So it pretty much already figures it out. What I did was I left off 80 and 443 because I'm not doing firewall pass-throughs. That's not a thing that I really care about, or even 7777. So basically I set mine to mid-range hardware. I probably could have put it up at 6666, but like I said, it'll automatically change, and that's really not a problem for me. So let's go into, wallet address again. Post the wallet address in here, and in this case there's no pool password, so everything that's mined here will go to this wallet address, which I am using, mymonero.com. You can set some other things. These don't matter because this is the no TLS version, and I'll link you to XMR-STAK in the description as well. There's a couple other things to change down here, but I didn't mess with any of that. So you're wondering, how much faster is GPU mining than CPU mining? Well, let's go ahead and start this thing up. And while it's beginning its mine, I can close that down. I'll close this down for a second while it's doing its thing. Now I will tell you that mining with a GPU, at least in my case, was much faster than mining with a CPU. Now, it also produces quite a bit of heat. That's the other thing, but my temps seem to be pretty well spot on. They weren't too hot. The fans seemed to keep everything going as much as I thought it should. I did not overclock my GPU. It only gave me about 15 or 20 hashes per second extra to go from normal to turbo. Not something I figured was actually worth it. So look at this over here, 583 hashes per second. That's pretty good, especially compared to the 65 or so hashes per second on the CPU. Now this is GPU only. I can actually run this side by side with a CPU miner and run both at the same time, and it'll work. Now obviously 2 chips running on the same heatsink will generate more heat. I'd have to turn the fans on maximum, and that's more stress on my laptop than I think I want to put it through for the little return that I'm going to get. So while this is up, let me go over a couple numbers here for you. 580 hashes per second. I'm just going to round this off to something easy to work with. If I'm mining by myself, 34,800 hashes per minute is 3/50ths of a cent. Doesn't sound like much, does it? How about 2,088,000 hashes per hour is 4 cents an hour? Yeah, not great. 50,112,000 hashes per day is 87 cents per day. Yeah, it still doesn't sound great, but it's sort of acceptable, right? 1,503,360,000 hashes per month is $26 a month. That's okay, I guess. I mean, if you bought a new cell phone, that would pay off your cell phone, right? Okay, now mind you, this is if it runs 24/7 at this rate. I would not expect you to do that. In fact, I definitely wouldn't do that. That would probably kill the hardware faster than I'm willing to to buy a new laptop. I already spent just under $2,000 for the laptop. That's not something I can easily recoup at $26 a month. So, okay, how has this become profitable? Well, what if you have 20 friends helping you? Well, let's look at the numbers for that. That would be 11,600 hashes per second as compared to 580 hashes per second. Okay, that's starting to sound a little better, right? We're multiplying by 20. So 696,000 hashes per minute is 1 cent per minute. That's not terrible. That sounds a little better. 41,760,000 hashes per hour is 80 cents an hour. It still doesn't sound great. 1,02,240,000 hashes per day is $17 per day. Okay, that's starting to sound somewhat acceptable, right? Now how about this one? 30,067,200,000 hashes per month is $520 per month. Okay, now that sounds something that we can work with. I could do quite a bit with an extra $520 a month, right? So could you. That would buy quite a bit. Actually, if you did that, that would almost be, depending on what you bought, a car payment per month. So, tell 20 of your friends to go help you, right? Well, it may not be that easy, but remember that's only 20 people. Now this is with 580 hashes per second per person using a GPU. You definitely are not going to get that online with a CPU miner. You'd have to have a whole lot more people doing this for you. So in this case, 200 people would have to be nonstop using a miner in order to get roughly the same output. I don't see that happening, but you know what? Even if you had half that, so what, 260,000? I'm sorry, 260,000. Wow, $260 a month? Still, it's not bad. But it is a way to do it. And it isn't as complicated as it sounds once you get into it and start working on it. But don't expect to get rich off of this. That is definitely not what this is going to do. I have read the stories of a couple families that literally sold everything. I believe they they live in a van or whatever it is, and they put all their investment in Bitcoin mining. Not a chance I would personally take. Granted that in this case XMR or Monero is on average $93 to $95 per one XMR, but it kind of fluctuates up and down. I've seen it as low as $84, $85 per XMR, and as high as I believe it was like $98 per XMR. It fluctuates quite a bit. It's not the same as Bitcoin, remember. This is more secure, it's untraceable, it's supposed to be easier to mine because you don't require to use an ASIC miner. And again, I'm not going over specific hardware requirements. But for these, yeah, I would say that mining Monero is a pretty decent side business. You won't get rich off of it, but even if it helps you supplement a little income, maybe you get into it, maybe you want to invest in it, go for it. Me personally, I'm still giving this a try. I'm not quite ready to dive too much into this at the moment, but see, now we're up to about 600 hashes per second. So it's come up a little bit, and that's because I'm on turbo. And my temperatures, actually for the GPU, I'd be a little more concerned if it hit about 175 to 180. Maybe even just a hair less than that. But 150 to 155 degrees, I can live with that. That's pretty good. And my fans aren't even on max. In fact, when they are, yeah, you can hear that in the background. And then watch my temperatures drop here real quick. 147. I'm not worried about the CPU because I'm not mining with a CPU. I'm only mining with a GPU. 45. It'll probably even go down from there a little bit. Yep, 43. So I've already dropped almost 12 degrees, and it'll keep going a little bit, but that's right about where it's going to end up, is somewhere between 138 and 141. So not bad. But yeah, so I'll put a link to the description for the XMR-STAK, and I will point you to CoinHive, and really just follow the setup instructions that I gave you. If you have any questions, there's the documentation on CoinHive. Go to mymonero.com for a wallet address, and you could be up and mining Monero in 15-20 minutes. Just takes you long to set it up, figure out where your address is, get the layout of CoinHive, and if you guys would like to help me out, the zip file that'll be linked in the description will be linked to my wallet address. So if you have a powerful GPU, NVIDIA based, and you'd like to mine for me, that would be awesome, because right now I'm really not making much on these videos. I don't have a whole lot of views, even though I have, and I'm really proud of this, guys. Thank you so much. I am now up to 163 subscribers. That's awesome. But yeah, if you guys would like to help me out, go ahead and mine for me. Also go to steelroms.com/miner, and I will eventually get a link over here on the left. But yeah, just follow this address for now. I will link that in the description as well. And mine using the CPU whenever you can. If you don't want to use all 100% of your CPU, just put this down to like 50%. Use 50% of your CPU. That works too. That way you don't burn anything out. Completely up to you. But anything you can do would help. I'm just kind of giving this a trial run. I want to see how well it actually works. I'm not hard set on doing this forever, but if it does work and it becomes worth my time, I will continue it. If it does not become worth it, I will close it down. But I figured I'd give you guys kind of a little heads up on it and see how you guys like it. Let me know what you think. Let me know in the comments. In the meantime, like, share, and subscribe, and I'll see you guys in the next video.